What's up, y'all? It's your girl Azurite from Trapland. Coming to you with a video that I was asked to do. So yeah, I've been putting this video off. I was actually asked to do this video right around the time I did the video about the guy that was stabbed by his girlfriend that's an OnlyFans model. I mentioned in that video, it's called One Parizo, I believe is the name of the condominium complex. I said I smelled cigarettes, right, inside of my house. So I got ready this morning. I felt, first and foremost, I felt so just exhausted this morning. I felt mad exhausted, and I just felt like I couldn't do anything this morning. And I sat in the bed, and I woke up earlier than I normally wake up, but I just felt so exhausted. Okay, so I was like, I gotta clean up. I was getting ready for Dinah's stream, live stream. Depending on what I got going in the morning, that's kind of like my morning ritual now. Like I get up, get dressed. If Dinah's doing a live stream and it's something that I want to listen to, then I just turn it on. And it helps me get my day started. I clean up my house. I cook me breakfast, and I just listen to it. It's kind of like a podcast almost. So that's my normal morning ritual. And as I was getting ready for his live stream, I went to go take my trash out to clean up my house, right? And y'all, I saw this in front of my house. It's a brand new box of Newports, like brand new box. Like y'all see that? Like it's like maybe one. What is that? One or two? I don't smoke cigarettes, so I don't know if that's two missing or what. Brand new box of Newports, right by my door. Like somebody left it there, and this is what my house smelled like. Okay, when I made the other video about the stabbing in the other condominiums in Miami. And I was like, not about, I picked him up and put him back. I was like, I'm not about to touch this. So I went and washed my hands, consulted with my eschew that rules my front door. And they were like, he was like, go get it. Go get it and bring it in. But you had to wash your hands first, bring it in. And show it to him as confirmation when you do the second video. So, like I said, everything I said in my last video is in the spirit, but the fact that everything I said and then I spoke about these cigarettes and then these cigarettes pop up outside my house and I'm about to make this video, it's crazy. Okay, so these are the cigarettes. I'm gonna leave the box open while I do this reading. Okay, so I'm gonna be talking to you about an apartment complex that's called the Eva Apartments. It's in Atlanta, Sandy Springs, Georgia. At this apartment complex is where someone that I used to be friends with, she used to live there. She's a rapper. I'm not sure if she really raps anymore, but her name was Wintertime Cold. And she's a rapper. And me and her used to go to high school together. And the high school, if I'm not mistaken, that we went to together, because she said we went to high school. I don't remember her from high school. She remembered me from high school. The high school that I believe we went to together is the same high school as the guy who used to be my boyfriend in middle school that tried to human traffic me. And the school that we went to school together with is named after a slave master. Okay. Yeah, the high school that me and my ex-boyfriend from middle school who tried to human traffic me, or in a sense, did human traffic me. He didn't traffic me like he wanted to, but he was exploiting my labor for sure, with intentions to exploit me across the country. Like he had been paying a Babalao to do work on me for months. Still is to this day paying a Babalao to do work on me or try to do work on me. And it's taking me years and my best friend being murdered before I've even gotten some type of peace with this shit. And before I thought it was just him that was trying to traffic me, but I realized he was more like the recruiter. He wasn't really the big guy behind the scenes that really wanted me. My ancestors have told me that their goal was to marry me off to like either a king in Nigeria or like a really big priest or somebody that's a part of the Yoruba diaspora or the Nigerian diaspora. I'm not sure if it was just the Nigerian diaspora. It could have possibly been like a royal lineage in another country. But I do know for a fact their intentions were to marry me off. Okay. And they wanted to use and the reason why they wanted to marry me off is because of my spiritual gifts, because I'm very spiritually gifted. I didn't know how spiritually gifted I was at the time. I'm still learning my spiritual gifts, but apparently I have like supernatural spiritual gifts. And a lot of Nigerian men have been trying to like force me to marry them since I was a kid. And me healing that is how ended up finding out that that's what their end goal intention was. That and like I said, I have a lot of different gifts that they wanted to use. Okay, so the reason why I'm making this video today is because after I began to do spiritual work to heal what happened to me in a hotel across the street from this apartments slash condominiums that I had visited not long before I was brought there on a 3 hotel spree that are a part of a Nigerian human trafficking ring in Atlanta. And I don't feel like it's a coincidence that the shooting happened because they left the blood all over. There was blood tracked through the whole condominium for over 12 hours. People trying to get in and out of their houses in the condos had to stamp in blood and track blood through the apartment complex in order to leave. I created a song. It's called Blood on the Towel because the trauma of this whole experience was just so great. I do feel like these people were murdered in this way as a human sacrifice to try to capture me. I do feel like this was it. I'm not saying that's the only thing, but the reason why I say this is for the following reasons. So after this shooting happened, it happened after, hold on, I can tell you exactly when the shooting happened. Okay. The shooting happened on February 11th, 2021. February 1st, 2022, I almost died in a car accident doing work to heal this. Okay. Yeah, I almost died in a car accident. And one of the main news stations that reported this incident is a Nigerian news station. Yeah, a Nigerian gossip column slash news station reported this shooting in Atlanta across the street from a hotel that Nigerians tried to human traffic me across the country at. What are the odds of that? And then I match my chart that I created with the guy that tried to human traffic me across the country, that labor exploited me. It did human traffic my spiritual gifts. Because he definitely did. Like, give me a second. This is heavy for me, y'all. Shout out to the ancestors in Sacramento. I got some water that's from Sacramento. And I didn't even know they sell this. They didn't sell this. They just got this water. Okay. Okay. This happened on February 11, 2021, around 2 a.m. in the morning in Sandy Springs, Georgia. Okay. I'm going to read you the article on the website. And I'm going to put this article in the link in the description bar below. All right. So for the Eva's Atlanta shooting. Nigeria. So, more than one Nigerian news station reported this shooting. Okay. There was one place called News Spot Nigeria. 2 dead, 1 wounded in a shooting at Atlanta apartment building. Graphic video. The sons of gunfire startled residents early Thursday, February 11th, which today is a Thursday, and I had no idea this before reading this to you, but I was told to do this video today. In an apartment building in suburban Sandy Springs, north of Atlanta. Thursday rules money, finances, business. Nigerians have created a business out of gun violence and human trafficking on Black and Indigenous women in Atlanta. Like that whole area is like a ritual space they've created for the elite of Nigeria to generate energy for their finances and for them to come over here and do shit in Atlanta. Okay? This is proven. Okay? This is proven. Say it's alleged, whatever. That's what's gonna keep me from getting in trouble. What the fuck ever. But follow the bloody footsteps. Follow yellow tape. They found 3 males shot inside an apartment. I went and found one of the males that was killed. He was queer. He was a queer man. Okay? And y'all know Nigerians don't like queer people. I'm just saying. There were 2 were dead at the scene, and a third was rushed to a local hospital and is expected to survive. Police said all the men knew each other. There is no motive for the shooting. Investigators spent the day collecting evidence and reviewing surveillance. A resident, Ice Tray. When you go to Ice Tray is a rapper. Okay. Now they've made their page private after I've gone and created the forensic astrology chart and gone back and done rituals myself. Yeah. I went back and did rituals my damn self. Y'all want to do this shit? I went and did my own. Now his page is private and he's not trying to be a rapper no more. I'm going to assume that Ice Tray is Nigerian. Because who else? Somebody had to report this to Nigerian news stations for them to even post the story. Because this is not on just one news station. It was on a Nigerian Instagram page and the video went viral amongst Nigerians. Over 50,000 viewers in Nigeria that are a part of this particular diaspora saw this video. What is the likelihood of that even being important to you? You know how many people in the Georgia and Atlanta get shot and killed and Nigerians don't care? Why do y'all care so much about this particular area having a shooting? Because y'all are invested in this area. Y'all been doing stuff over there. The girl that I said I met that lived in an apartment, she was a child of Oshun. She was being initiated. Let's call a spade a spade. People that were around her were working with Tyler Perry. I have a situation with one of his writers sexually assaulting me before this happened. A lot of sexual violence started happening to me after one of Tyler Perry's writers sexually assaulted me. And sexually assaulted me in one of their corporate residential buildings. He's a stage developer and stage designer. I don't remember his name. I blocked a lot of this stuff out. For a long time, I did not speak up about stuff like this. I just let it happen and prayed that it would stop. But the reason why I started speaking up is when my best friend died. After my best friend died, my best friend would not allow me to be quiet anymore about this stuff. Especially not after he's been murdered, protecting me from this bullshit. Okay? So it says a resident Ice Tray uploaded video showing the bloody aftermath of the shooting. Blood was seen inside an elevator and there are bloody footprints leading down a hallway. Ice Tray captioned the video. Fatal shooting in my building, the Eva in Sandy Springs last night around 2 a.m. It's reported that 3 Latino guys had an argument last night and then a shootout between the three ensued. All three participants were shot. 2 was fatally shot. The other one is in the hospital being treated for their injuries and the status is unknown. Police are currently investigating the incident. People are terrified and expect to see cheaper rent or they are departing. PSA, this was not black on black crime. They were Mexican. He don't know what nationality they are unless he's involved. How would you know they're Mexican unless you know the people that got killed? And why are you reporting a Mexican issue to Nigerian news stations? Why? Why is this relevant? And like I said, Nigerians have to be invested in this because otherwise they wouldn't even care to report this. Like I said, this is one news station or news blog in Nigeria that posted this called the News Spot Nigeria. The original one that I saw that's got the Nigerians that posted it. Hold up. They put his original post on Instagram. He mentioned the Shade Room. The Shade Room is ran by a Nigerian woman. So are any of these blogs affiliated with the Shade Room? And why are y'all posting this type of shit? And this information came back up after I did the astrology reading about the Shade Room. I found out some more information through doing that reading from Shade Room about people in the music industry who have been stalking me. Masqueraded as photographers at events and venues that I have been going to have been stalking me. I have been being gang stalked by Nigerian spiritualists since I worked at Tesla in 2015. And I have photos and dates. Y'all people are so bold and boastful about the shit. At least have a fucking alias if you're going to go and stalk somebody. Why are y'all so invested? So freaking invested in these areas if you don't have anything to do with this? It makes no sense. And that's why I say y'all have to be. What are the odds that I've literally experienced human trafficking across the street from this apartment complex? This shooting happens. My homegirl, who I don't know, was still living there at the time, but me and her not even friends no more. She's avoiding me now. She lives there. Don't remember what floor she lives on. This happens. Y'all leave the blood on the floor in the apartment complex for over 12 hours. People are walking there. Some of the videos I can't even find anymore. There was videos of people walking through puddles of blood. How is it that much blood unless y'all drag the body out? And if y'all drag the, there's no way that you were just bleeding that much from you getting shot and you could still walk to leave on your own. Y'all had to drag the body out of there. And if you drag the body out of there, how nobody's seeing you dragging a whole bloody body out of this freaking apartment complex? This apartment complex has a butler. I know this because I've been there before. You have to have a butler when there's a butler at the door when you get there. You have to have a certain car to get on the elevator to go upstairs, depending on where you're going. There's different buildings in the condominiums. You only have access to the building in which you live in unless you got like a penthouse or something. And somebody has to use their car to get you on the elevator. I think you have to have a car to come down. So explain this to me. Explain it. And I'm going to get into these placements, but I'm just speaking first and foremost off of experience because I know how this apartment complex works because I've been inside of it before. And the irony of the fact that I literally was staying at a hotel across the street while I was being trafficked through Atlanta with intentions to human traffic me across the country by a child of Ogun. Okay? So, I don't care if it's 2 a.m., okay? This apartment complex is it's so many people. 2 a.m., they still people coming in and out of there. Okay, 2 a.m., it's not quiet in there. Somebody, and like I said, there's a butler. So there doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. or not. Somebody is there to see what is going on at 2 a.m. So at 2 a.m., so nobody saw this body being dragged out. And why is that not being reported? Okay, before I go too much on the tangent, okay? So the first Nigerian news station that reported this was called New Spot Nigeria. Okay. The next one, oh no. There's more than one Nigerian news station that reported this incident. Okay. There's like 3 or 4. So this was breaking news in Nigeria. Okay. The condominium across the street from the hotel that I was being held hostage in by a human trafficking ring in Nigeria. Over 3 Nigerian news stations have posted about this shooting that has nothing to do with Nigerians. So it says. Okay. So the next news station in Nigeria that posted this is called Lifestyle Nigeria. And like I said, all of these news stations that reported this, I will be putting the link below. Okay, I'm going to be putting the link below. Some of these news stations, the first time I Googled this, they didn't even show up. Like there's something, like even like the one I just clicked on, it won't let me see it. So like somebody's trying to pull this stuff off the internet. Okay, so you got News Spot Nigeria, you got Lifestyle Nigeria, you got, where the other one at? It's one where this lady, her name is Linda. Let me see if I can freaking find this lady. Hold up. Because it's like some type of proxy where it's like sometimes I can find certain things, then other times I can't find certain things, and I'm being blocked from seeing all of what I need to see. So give me 1 second while I look this up again. Shooting Linda. It's like her name was like Linda Ijiki or something like that, or Ijk or something like that. Here she go. Here it go. Welcome to Linda Ikeji. Ikeji block. This one, if I'm not mistaken, is the first person from Nigeria that posted it. I'm not 100% sure. I do know the first, okay, so like I said, it's changed. This happened in 2021. I didn't leave bookmarks on all this because I never thought I was going to be publicly speaking about this, okay? I didn't want to speak about this publicly because I just felt like I didn't know how much spiritual work I needed to do to protect myself from these people. I didn't know if I was ever going to get out of Atlanta because at the time I was still living in Atlanta. I didn't know if I was ever going to escape this human trafficking ring or feel confident enough to know that I can speak about this and nobody can hurt me for doing this. Because when I went back to this apartment after the shooting, my legs gave out. My legs gave out. My best friend at the time had to grab me because I almost collapsed to the ground. There was this radiating energy coming off me. Like my energy was being siphoned like I was like a living generator for this place, which means that I was like thinking I only was physically, like I was like my soul was being human trafficked by this organization of spiritualists from Nigeria in Atlanta. Like they were literally using me like I was a generator for whatever spiritual work they were doing. And it showed, like it was like a beacon of light broke out when I went back. I had to leave an offering and I went back to the hotel and I sat there and I prayed and I said, listen, because this is when I realized that Oshun was protecting me. I was like, Oshun, because I didn't know who was protecting me. I was like, I don't know who protected me from this. I don't know what spirits are protecting me from this. I don't know how I got away from these people. Please reveal to me who is protecting me from this. And this is when I found out that Oshun was protecting me. So she was like, I know you don't want to talk to me. I know you mad at everybody and it's okay, but I got you. And so like, I just sat and I just listened, okay? And it wasn't even listening like a listen of like physically listening to her speak. It was more like a spiritual download of information. Like, okay, like this happened to me. I got away from here. Why is it still happening? Now, this situation regarding, I don't know how much longer it was before I went back over there. Like, I don't remember when I went back. I just know it was before I moved to Las Vegas. All right, so getting back to what they posted. Okay, so the lady Linda, she posted the video. She posted like even now I'm trying to pull this up. It's blacking out the screen, bruh. Like it's like frozen. The screen is like frozen. Which I pulled this up earlier today and I had no issues. Let me switch onto my network and get off my Wi-Fi and see if it works. No. Okay, there we go. I had to come off the Wi-Fi because clearly something going on with my Wi-Fi. All right, so it's saying almost the same things. Leaving bloody footprints down a hallway. Police are currently investigating the incidents. The status of the injuries are unknown. It's saying that the same person reported this on all these news stations. Like he gave a tip, an anonymous tip, which wasn't anonymous. And like he changed his page. Okay. The guy's name says music by. Right. Okay. So somebody put their music on this video. Okay. So I'm going to read this. It says, Ice Tray, fatal shooting in my building in Eva and Sandy Springs last night around 2 a.m. It's reported that 3 Latino guys had an argument last night and then a shootout ensued. 2 was fatally shot. Residents are terrified and expect to see cheaper rent or they are departing. This has been an Ice Tray Live exclusive report. Music by Decatur Babies. My best friend was murdered in Decatur. And I know these people not from Decatur. When I looked at their stuff. That's what I said. This whole thing was like somebody was fucking with me is how I felt. Okay? Then it says produced by Dreadhead CED. One of my best friend's nicknames was Dread. And they put the Shade Room, ATL Scoop, the Neighborhood Talk, World Star, Baller Alert, Fox News, CBS 4611, like all the news stations basically that reported this, as well as these Nigerian stations, they attach their music to this. And then now when you try to go back onto the person who reported it, their music page is no longer there. I don't know if this person still lives in these apartments or not. But like I said, it's just so odd to me. Like I said, the girl I was cool with that lived there, she was an up-and-coming rapper. These people are up-and-coming rappers. There was a whole lot of people that were either staying in there or around there that was somewhat in the entertainment industry. And then the girl that I was cool with at the time, she told me she was homeless before she got an apartment. She's like, yeah, I work something out so I get it. How are y'all able to work something out to move into this apartment complex? The rent is high. When you look, I'm going to put the link. It's just like the ones that was in Miami. It's high as hell to move up in these apartments. These apartments are expensive. They are so expensive. It's crazy. They're expensive. They got the video has 1,002 likes. And the video is still live. It's on Linda Akije blog, whatever. And this is when I really knew that this blog wasn't even like a small blog. She was talking about Boko Haram and having an exclusive interview with Boko Haram. I'm like, why are there Nigerian politicians associated with certain media personalities and outlets that are reporting a shooting that happened in Atlanta across the street from a hotel that was taken to a part of a Nigerian human trafficking ring? What? And that's when once this went, because this whole story, my best friend that was murdered came to me in a dream and showed me this story and had me go find the news clipping for it. Just like my other friend that was murdered told me once I left this hotel that I was being trafficked and to call his sister. And I called his sister, and his sister worked at the hotel he took me to, and she called and reported his ass, and he had to take me somewhere else. So my ancestors or my partners that are now ancestors, they is not playing no type of games. They be keeping me in the loop on what the hell is going on with this whole situation. This link is still live on Instagram to this day. I don't know how to do all the little fancy stuff to show you the screen and all that stuff, but if I did, I would. Okay. So all right, cool. Let's get onto the nitty gritty. Okay. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's get into this chart. Okay. Because that's really what we all came here for. I've been talking about the whole situation and explaining everything for the past 30 minutes of what the hell is going on. So now that I've explained and gave you the backstory so you understand what is going on with the situation, why I'm doing this, again, got these Newport cigarettes from the ancestor that came through. I don't know the ancestor by name yet. That came through from the Toby Obumseli stabbing that happened in Miami. This is a continuation of that video. All right. So let's talk about this chart. Okay. So going to the bottom. Going to the bottom. There's an Aquarius stellium or stellium. Now, Venus went into Aquarius on February 1st. My car accident that I almost died in, I got hit. My side of the car got hit by 2 cars. I was not supposed to survive this car accident. I was supposed to die. Like, folks been trying to kill me for real. Okay? I sent this energy back, and a guy that is associated with Rick Ross, his mother, died in a car accident. Same making model cars as the car that hit me and almost killed me. Not gonna harp on that too long. Just know, like I said, I sent the reversal back out after I got into that car accident. I sent the reversal back out after this human trafficking situation too. And I'm gonna keep sending reversals to this one. I'm gonna send a reversal all the way down to the root of foundations of existence regarding this situation with my human trafficking. And I'm not gonna say my human trafficking because I'm not claiming that. The experience of human trafficking. The experience of human trafficking that happened to me. Okay? So the accident happened around 6 in the morning. And while we were in the ambulance, no, after we got to the hospital, I got an email from an astrology blog I follow saying that Venus had just entered Aquarius. So Venus entered, like, this happened, this accident happened in a monumental zodiac transition in Venus. Venus has to do with relationships. The person that tried to kill both of us in the car accident was somebody I was dating. And her house is the colors of Arumala. And I used to say that to her all the time. I'm like, bro, like, you sure your mom don't practice Ifa? She was like, not that I know of. We Muslim. Her house was painted yellow and green. I just think it was so bizarre. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a lot of stuff that was pointing to other stuff in her house. And I was just like, I don't know about this. All right, so Venus, I don't know what sign it was in before, but it entered Aquarius while we were in the going through checking, and I had to go to Grady because my trauma was so bad. I mean, I could have gone somewhere else. She wasn't like alert enough to speak. I was alert enough to speak. I was making all the decisions. They were like, since you're awake and you're alert and your partner isn't alert, what hospital do you want to go to? Do you want to go to blah 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 hospital, or you want to go to Grady? I lived at the time where it happened. I was living in a remote part of Georgia. There was no street lights or nothing. There's only one way in and out. So it was going to take longer to get to Grady than it would to get to the other hospital. But I knew that I was really hurt. I was going to need to go to Grady anyway. And I didn't know. I knew from experience that time is not on your side if you have any punctured organs. Yes, I could be awake at that time, but I didn't know what was going on in my body. So I made a cognizant decision to go to Grady. So we get to Grady, and like I said, I got the email saying that Venus had entered Aquarius. Venus is in Aquarius on this chart because it was in the same month. This shooting happened 20 days after I almost died in a car accident. So I was still kind of in recovery. I had already started back working and stuff because nobody gave a fuck about my car accident, and that's a whole nother video and a whole nother story. But I was still really fresh about the car accident. So you got Jupiter in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius, the moon is in Aquarius, sun is in Aquarius, and Pallas is in Aquarius, and that's how you get what you want. Okay, so this stellium was all this was done and the timing that it was done with a very strong intention. The intention was to get rid of me. Okay, this was intended to get rid of me. All of this was intended to get rid of me. And these other people, I don't know what happened 100%, but they was just some casualties and sending a very clear message for me to shut the hell up. And I'm still not going to shut the hell up. I'm still not going to shut the hell up. Okay. So The first house is in Sagittarius in the 0th degree in Juno. I'm a Sagittarius sun sign. Second house is in Pluto, Capricorn. Third house is in Aquarius with the stellium in it. Fourth house is in Pisces. Fifth house is in Aries. The sixth house is in Taurus. The seventh house is in Gemini. The eighth house is in Cancer. The ninth house is in Leo. The 10th house is in Virgo. The 11th house is in Libra. And the 12th house is in Scorpio. The chart that I did about the last situation that happened in Miami, Leo was in the 6th degree. So it's 1 degree off. And I believe it was in the 6th house, but I would have to go and check. Okay, I have to go and check and see and follow up. Now, let me pull some cards and see what it's saying about me checking into what placements are the most important that I need to look at. Okay. Let me drink some tea real quick. All right. Before I start, first and foremost, I'd like to ask the ancestors to protect me. I know I didn't go into this with the intentions of protection like I should have in the beginning, but I would like to speak on that energy now. I would like to call on divine guidance for clarification on what aspects in correlation to this shooting at the Eva. Why are Nigerians, why are they invested in reporting this situation? Why is a Shade Street room being mentioned? Why is these rapper songs attached to this bloody, glorifying, human sacrificing situation that was televised right across the street from where we were taken as a victim at the time, but now a survivor of human trafficking? I keep seeing this Dillogun, this cowrie shell reading board. And I keep seeing people throwing cowrie shells. Like somebody working against me, working on me. And I see a cup of blood. And they just going at it. It's blood. It's a cup of blood. It's dark. And I see somebody throwing cowrie shells. And it looks like that house that man who the guy took me to. His name is Maurice. The guy that tried to traffic me. The guy that human trafficked me. His name is Maurice. And there, his brand, he has a clothing brand right now, and he's a real estate agent. His called Rebel. He's first and foremost, he's a truck driver, and he just started doing real estate. When he got his CDLs, I went and I did the first thing I ever did when we started back talking. And when we first started talking, I had this really bad feeling about him, but it was like I couldn't not talk to him. It was the weirdest thing, but I didn't know that he had already been doing work on me before he came back into my life to talk to me. And he had already knew what he was going to do when he first started trying to back talk to me. Like he had already made his mind up on what he was going to do to me. And it was very planned out. You could tell now. And so I helped him get his CDLs. He was supposed to, the only reason why we were really even in communication is because he was supposed to be my teacher. And so I did a tarot reading for him for his birthday, and it was a 12-card reading. We smoked a honey backwood, and I put honey on it. And it wasn't for Oshun. I just liked honey, and I felt like it was that I was told to use that on the backwood to make it stick. And he wanted me to make edibles with him for his family and stuff like that. Like, but at the time, I wasn't really making edibles like that. So he was trying to invest in me. It's just a lot. The crazy thing was he was offering to buy me an apartment very similar to this one. It's called the Alexan over by Lenox Square Mall. He was gonna get me an apartment and he was gonna get me a car. And this was because, like I said, I basically been doing spiritual work for him to get what he needed to get his own truck, so that he could teach me how to be a truck driver, because I didn't want to spend no more money to go to school for my CDLs. And like I said, at no point in time did any of that happen. He got nothing but free labor out of me. And then he started trying to hold me hostage. And when I confronted him about it, he was like, "You don't know what you're doing enough for me to pay you. So that's why you ain't gonna get paid for it." What? I don't know enough for you to pay me, but you using my stuff, my energy, and you use the information that you got from me, and now I've manifested everything that you wanted and more. So how am I not worth being paid or compensated for my spiritual energy and my spiritual gifts when you've benefited from them? That doesn't make any sense. And that's what I mean by, like, sex trafficking isn't the only form of human trafficking. There are a lot of women that are being human trafficked in Ifa, Palamayombe, Santeria Lukumi. Probably, I know in the church too. I know a woman right now who's a survivor of a cult, a church cult. The point of the matter is that this man specifically took me to a Babalawo that has experience and is trained and skilled at shackling very spiritually inclined women to men to be used for their spiritual gifts. I am not a weak woman at all, by no means. But he knew what he was doing. And that's why it makes me feel like I know he has done this before, because my friend's sister said that he had been reported with other women in the past. There might be women that have been trafficked by this guy who I used to date in middle school that might be deceased now. They're not alive anymore. Who knows what he did to them? But I got out and I got away. And I just feel like it's so strange to me how much news coverage this apartment is getting when I literally went through human trafficking across the street. And he's taking me to a Nigerian Babalawo discreetly so that he could go and get cowrie shell reading done on me. I had never gone to anybody to get a cowrie shell reading done before. I've only had one more person do a cowrie, with my consent, do a cowrie shell reading on me. And that's my godparent, one of my godparents that I now have, that I didn't know was my godparent until after they helped me out with this situation. And it wasn't even this situation helping me. They helped me with a situation where one of my friends was murdered and his body was found later on, decomposed already, at the crossroads in New Orleans, after he had been with certain celebrities in the music studio in Atlanta. Like, people that I care about have been being targeted. That's why I said I did not take this lightly, that I knew this girl and then this happened in her apartment complex, because people have been strategically murdering and assassinating my friends that were trying to help me stay away from these freaking human traffickers. Okay, so Gemini came up, Libra came up, the The second house came up. Neptune came up. Saturn came up. Okay. So I'm going to look at this chart and see. And I'm going to stick to Libra and Gemini being important because these two came up in the reading I did about Obumseli and the condominium situation, and he's Nigerian. And I also looked this up. The guy, Toby Obumseli, he is Igbo. When I looked up his last name, I'm not going to say he's Igbo. His last name is an Igbo last name. I've done my homework. His last name has something, it's like a salutation to God or something like that, was what his last name is. Now, get this. I'm not going to say their name on here because I don't know how to say it correctly. After I did that reading, a Igbo goddess or female divinity whom is known to be wrathful. She hates lies. One of the, in their language, she has a carving on her temple that says, truth will set you free and lies will send you to death. Okay, that's at her shrine. She is taking over this situation. And everybody, from what it seems like, is afraid of her. She, for some reason, likes me. She likes me, and she is taking over the situation now. These two cards came up in the other one. Okay, so now, as far as Gemini is concerned, on the first chart, like your planetary placements, there aren't any aspects with that. Now I'm about to go look at the houses and see if any of the houses are in any of these placements. Okay, so the 7th house is in Gemini. The 7th house is in Gemini, and it has the North Node and the True Node in it. So I'm going to put that to the side. And then Libra is in the 11th house, but there's no planet. So that means I'm going to have to literally look up the asteroids to see what asteroids are literally in the 11th house, and it's in the 12th degree. All right, now one house that came up all by itself is the 2nd house. The 2nd house has Pluto in it. When I looked up the reading about Obumseli and the girl, the placements regarding this guy that I'm talking about that had me at this hotel across the street from this condominium, that him contacting me, trying to get in contact with me after I ignored him and blocked him on numerous platforms, blocked his phone numbers and everything, changed my number, all of that. The planetary placements in one of the degrees coordinates in Pluto and Capricorn was the same. Okay. And then the next one that came up, no, the next two that came up were two different planets. The planet that came up was Neptune, and Neptune, hold on, give me a second. Neptune is in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is a very violent and aggressive placement. I don't know how long Neptune gonna be in Pisces or if it's out of Pisces now, but Neptune in Pisces, like, it is insane how much violence. Like, it is notorious for violence, gun violence, car accidents, slavery. I think I even found a video on here about Neptune in Pisces over the past 500 years being connected to slavery. And then the Saturn placement is in Aquarius. And it's in the 6th and 29th degree. 29, okay, so I'm glad I brought that up. So now I can go ahead and talk about that because this reading is about a condominium. Okay, so there is, let me see how many placements in 29th degree. Okay, you got there's 3 placements on this chart that are subjected to fame. You've got Jupiter is in the 29th degree. Saturn is in the 29th degree. And Vesta in Virgo is in the 19th degree. Vesta in Virgo is very, very, very violent. It has to do with like people killing people in the projects for fun, fame, and fortune. People finding bodies in abandoned bodies, people finding bodies in abandoned houses in the bando. That is the whole Vesta and Virgo energy. People gossiping about you to seek you harm, to slander your name, and it's not true. I'm not talking about people talking about you and what they're saying about you is true. No, I'm talking about people making up lies about you to try to create drama. Vesta and Virgo is a very messy sign, and it's an intergenerational wound. Like the whole wound of like the projects and the ghetto and people being strung out on drugs. Like when I did my astrological research, the crack epidemic busted out during Vesta in Virgo. Like, and this came from somebody that I know that is affected by the crack epidemic. And she was talking about freebasing and mixing cocaine and all of that. Like when she told me like the timeline, when I looked it up on the astrological level, the sign that ruled it is Vesta and Virgo. And then right after this family member who I will not name and I do not speak to anymore spoke about this, one of my ancestors that died in a bando, and one of my family members left them there to die and has been using their energy to generate wealth for their family. She told me about this Vesta in Virgo and told me that it was serious. And once I started even doing a little bit of healing about this, my people in my bloodline that are toxic, like the Iyami, the malicious Iyami that they've been using, and that's right around this time when I started figuring this out, is when I had a Babalawo from New York City tell me that he was weaponizing the Iyami. So all of this energy is being weaponized with mothers, whether it be a person's mother, whether it be a woman that has children and they're abusing the children. Like this energy is not, it's not okay. And so like I would say regarding this energy, it's showing up a lot in Atlanta, but it's anchored in Miami. And the reason why I say it's anchored in Miami is because one of the spirits they're using to abuse this energy is Yemaya. But they're not using Yemaya as an entirety. They're using a particular lineage of Yemaya that was married to Ogun, because the priest in Ogun is, hey P Funk, I didn't see you earlier. I just saw your comment. There is a lineage of Ogun in Yemaya that was married. Okay, and so this energy, like I said, this is very strategic on what's happening. Okay, it's very strategic of what's happening. They don't care about us. Okay, like for me, I am just a product to them. They just want my power. They're greedy for power. As greedy for power as they possibly can be. That's all they care about is power, power, and more power. Okay. Now, there's quite a few different signs on here that have like the same degrees. Like Venus and Mars are in the 9th degree. You got Jupiter and Saturn are in the 29th degree together. You got Neptune. And I didn't even see that Neptune is in the 19th degree. That's in fame too. So literally these people use this shootout was intended to generate, like them broadcasting it was supposed to make somebody famous. They were intending to get famous off this. And if I probably hadn't done any spiritual work there, they probably would have succeeded, but they did not succeed. And like I said, I haven't spoken to the girl that was staying there. I don't know if she lives there anymore. I don't think she lived there anymore, because she just had a little kid. And like when I went on her page being nosy, she was posting pictures of her being in the house. She did live, that house don't look nothing like the apartment in the condo she was staying in. So I'm assuming she don't live there no more. She might have moved out of there before or after the situation happened, but I know she has a little girl, so she can't be living nowhere where they are over here doing so they're doing. Do you feel it's necessary to go through them? I feel like it's just a cash grab here in Miami. What do you mean by that? Like when it comes to when it comes to E5, are you speaking of like in general? I'm speaking to somebody in the chat just for the live stream when I post it, because it's gonna get posted. I'm gonna let him say. I don't feel like it's necessary for us to go through IFA to do what we need to do, because like I said, for me, I did not sit at nobody's feet in Bablau, and I was speaking about not needing to be initiated, and they were talking about, oh, that's not true. And then Eshu had me go to the bookstore, and I ended up meeting this little girl. She was at the crossroads. She was about to buy this book, a witchcraft book by these witches that have been attacking me spiritually for over 5 years. And I told the little girl not to buy the book because she was like looking at me trying to get me to say something to her, but I didn't want to. And I literally got it in my book where it says, and this book was written by, because after I've spoken to other people that are part of the diaspora, and I'm not talking about these little babalaos, I call them fake babalaos. I spoke to an actual king's reader, like priest, like, and I forgot what they call him, but he left, like, he's a his Ile or his house is like the head house of Obatala, and the head house of Obatala, because of the amount of violence in Nigeria, they no longer live in Nigeria anymore. They only go to Nigeria for rituals. The head of the house of the actual official Nigerian seat of Obatala is now in Brazil. And so I had a king's priest in Brazil tell me that I don't have to go through them for none of this. But he was like, don't bash it, but just know that you don't need them. And so after he said that to me, that's when I realized that any type of spiritual aspect when it is regarding to Eshu, because I walk with Eshu. My family lineage is Eshu. I have an ancestral Eshu. I have a whole house of Eshu that has not been used. It was dormant. And I literally have my own, in a sense, religion of a whole military of spirits at my disposal that I don't have to go sit at nobody's feet. My ancestors created this house during slavery, and I can use it whatever way that I see fit. I make my own bracelets, and people that are of the spiritual practice, I don't even have to tell them. They can feel the energy and they know my stuff is authentic. So the book that I found it after I spoke to that girl. And after I found this book, the book says the reason why they are making it where you have to work with the Orishas to work with Eshus, because Eshu is considered the slave and the servant of the spiritual practice. Like, they literally say this. If you look closely, they call Eshu the servant, which is not true. Eshu don't need none of the Orishas. Eshu is older than all of the Orishas. And if we want to keep it a stat, Eshu is not from Nigeria. The proof is in the pudding, and this is what me and the guy, I'm just gonna call him a traditional ruler of Obatala, we were speaking about this, because I was like, okay, so you answer me this: if Eshu is from Nigeria and is ruled in Nigeria, then why is it that there's no poker rooms in Nigeria? Cannabis is not legal in Nigeria. LGBTQ people are not legal in Nigeria. There is an Eshu. There is literally a specific Eshu that has two heads, and there's a particular Orisha that is associated with this that is dual spirit and considered androgynous. So how are you supposed to give offering to a spirit and deity that is so powerful and prevalent in the ancient practices of quote unquote Ifa, if that's illegal now? So this particular person, they wrote a book. The book was translated from Brazilian Portuguese to English. And it says in the book that you do not have to be initiated by anybody. People that are actually children of Eshu, people that are supposed to be priests and priestesses of Eshu, that have ancestral houses like me, you are not authentic if you went through a traditional initiation, because Eshu does not initiate like that. Because they don't trust nobody. And the Eshu don't trust none of these people. They know, he knows how powerful his energy and his magic is. So of course he's not going to wait on a human being to initiate one of his people. Now, did I go through an initiation? Yes, I've gone through a series of initiations. I've just recently finished another level of initiation. And the initiation included someone being killed at the crossroads. I witnessed somebody dying in a car accident that was almost identical to my car accident, and they did not survive. And that was basically their confirmation of letting me know that the reason why I survived is because of them, and that this was all of a test in a sense. So these people, another thing is with these people that keep trying to human traffic me into Ifa or force me to be walking Ifa, these people know that I'm ancestral bloodline lineage of Eshu. They are trying to get my power so they can sell my Eshus to people inside the religion. People buy Eshu, but you don't just have an Eshu. You can watch a whole bunch of videos about this. People from numerous regions of aspects of the diaspora will say this. You cannot buy Eshu. You cannot be initiated to have an Eshu. You cannot buy a Pumbajira. You cannot be initiated to have a Pumbajira. It's not possible. Either you have it or you don't. You are the ancestral lineage or you're not. You can get guidance. You can initiate to get guidance, but you cannot be of Eshu unless you are born with that. That Eshu, that not even that Eshu, that Ashe, that energy, that power is not something that you just can learn. Either you got the space to hold it or you don't. Everybody not built to walk with Eshu. That is why people work so hard to try to come for me the way they try to come for me. And they were like, well, it's not possible for Eshu to be over your head. Like, it's not possible. And I'm like, yes, it is. So then I kept walking in my path regardless. There is a man that's from Nigeria that says the same thing. He's like, well, the person that rules over my head is Eshu. And you see, I'm not a crazy person. I'm not irate or anything like that. And so for people to say this is because a lot of these people that are walking in the path, they are not really of the path in the first place. And that's another reason why they have not been able to kill me and be successful at the stuff they're doing. How you gonna use my ancestors' energy to try to seek me harm? And Ifa, and I'm sure that's why they got Ifa set up like this. You have to go through Eshu to make sure that your ancestors get their offering. You can do all these human sacrifices and rituals all you freaking want to, but if Eshu says no, then nothing's going to happen. And that's exactly what the hell happened with this whole reading. This goes right back to what I'm talking about. They tried to give a sacrifice, and they, in a sense, tried to sacrifice me again. They tried to put blood on top of what was going on. They did it, and it was not successful. So now, what are they going to do next? I don't know what they're going to do next. But all I can say from this whole situation is these people better leave me the heck alone. And I don't know what they're going to do about that building. That building is haunted now. Those people that they murdered, those people are haunting that building now. And that energy is so strong. It feels like you can't not miss it. Like, you know how sometimes people can be like, oh, well, I don't know, something bad happened here. It's like something bad happened, but it's like an alluring energy. Like, it feels like something's wrong spiritually. It's radiating from that building. It is so strong. And where this condo is where a lot of the really wealthy corporate buildings are located around. It's in Sandy Springs. And it was so crazy because when this first happened to me over there was really nothing over there. Now they got a Whole Foods over there. It's grocery stores and stuff over there. Like, it's so much stuff they built over there now. And it's just like, well, this is insanity to me. So yes, no, you don't need to go through Ifa to work with Eshu. That is a lie. The Ifa they had weaponized ancestral medicine. There is a guy named Daniel Four. He is located in North Carolina or South Carolina, and he holds what he calls ancestor medicine training. And he uses the Orishas to do it. He says that a particular Oluwa in Nigeria initiated him. Their whole practice is corrupted. Why in the hell are you initiating a white psychologist to be a priest of Ifa to heal ancestors that your ancestors and his ancestors created slavery to her in the first place? It just sounds like some foolery. I'm going to call it what it is. And so I just feel like this whole situation with Obum Seli is all a scam and a sham. I still stand on my alleged spiritual sites of that woman being sex trafficked, because this stuff is just coming up too congruent for me. And like I said, I smelled cigarettes, and then I found a pack of fresh cigarettes outside my house. I don't know what much more proof I need at this point. So that's really much all I got to say at this point. Like, I'm not gonna stay on here too much longer. I've already been on here an hour. I wanted to speak more about the reading itself. It was a reading regardless if I show you the cards or not. This chart is insane to me. This chart is just insane to me. The fact that it's an Aquarius stellium like this, like, it's so many planets in Aquarius. So many planets in Aquarius. And then I end up, another thing that's weird is there's this guy that I met. He's a part of this sex cult. He lives in Arizona, but there's a woman who lives in Atlanta, and she does dance classes in the historic West End area in Atlanta. And he basically tried to use her as a placeholder for me and my friends that have been protesting against a grocery store in Atlanta. It's a vegan grocery store called Seven Ananas, which is named after a slave, and their involvement in human trafficking. And the priest that I'm speaking of, that's like the ringleader of all of this, is who protects. He's there's a sponsorship going on with him and Seven Nandas. It's just really bizarre to me how all this is going about. There is a lot, like Ifa has taken over Atlanta. You would think that that Atlanta is Nigeria. The amount of people that practice Ifa in Atlanta, people are moving at a rapid rate that are practitioners of Ifa, and they are doing ritual work to get rid of Atlanteans so that they can move into Atlanta from all over the country, all over the world. And it is this whole ritual of this gunshot thing in an apartment complex that is very expensive already, and them leaving the blood like that is a biohazard. It was in the middle. That was like COVID was still fresh. Y'all left a biohazard of blood, of human blood, and people are tracking their shoes through the blood because they have no other way to really go. Like these people don't have no idea that there's blood all over the floor like this, and they're just tracking this blood all over the floor. Probably track the blood outside. I don't know how deep we went, but for these Nigerian news stations to report this incident so vigorously, it makes no sense to me. It's very bizarre. Okay, so I'm going to post the links below of these links of these Nigerians that decided they wanted to document the situation. It would be so. It's really sad to me that they want to report the situation regarding this shooting, but Nigerians act so stank towards me. I've received death threats from Nigerians about me speaking out about their exploitations and pursuits to human traffic me, as well as knowing very, very strongly that they had a very large hand in the transatlantic slave trade as well as the fancy girl trade. So why are y'all so adamant to report this shooting, but the shooting happened across the street from a hotel that I was definitely human trafficked out of? Makes no sense. And that's because, like I said, I've said it in one of my other videos before, Nigerians can see something in their face and they'll say they didn't see it. They have they remind me a lot of white people, a lot. They really do. There's just this grotesque superiority over other people, and just always in denial of what's going on. Now, some of them won't be in denial, but they all have this underlying fetish of being in denial about things regarding violence and slavery, as if everything. And I honestly think maybe it's a coping skill or a defense tactic, a defense mechanism, but it's very unhealthy. And like Pluto's at the bottom of the deck. All right, y'all. I'm about to get up off here. I'm about to make me something to eat. Again, I just ate before I got on here, but I'm about to make me something to eat. I gotta use the bathroom, so I'm about to do that too. I appreciate you riding out with me. Those that, P-Funk, I appreciate you being in the chat. And I'm gonna save this live stream, and I'm gonna post. I need to post this on my blog because y'all been avoiding this. I'm telling you, like, I'm not afraid of really much of anything in life, but this getting ready to do this live stream, my stomach was hurting. I just felt really, really uneasy because it's like before it was like a vague memory of people trying to of Nigerians trying to human sacrifice me in Ifa. But this bloody situation, like those people being murdered and their blood being left there like that, it revealed the truth. Like that was like a sacrifice in itself of like the illusion was broken by those people that died. And I think it's because of whoever their ancestors are, those Latino people's ancestors, their ancestors was like, what the fuck is going on? And they were like, no, this is not going to keep going on. And so I'm not angry that the news stations in Nigeria posted it because it's going to help me. It's going to work in my favor with what I'm doing. It has worked in my favor. But I I'm not going to not hold people accountable. I'm going to hold people accountable for what they've been doing. And people keep romanticizing Nigeria. They keep romanticizing Nigerians coming to Atlanta and Nigeria's influence in Atlanta. After my best friend was murdered, a Nigerian man that had graduated from a school in Georgia, a university in Georgia, is now the governor of Ogun State. I know they use some of that energy from all this trauma I've been through. I know this for a fact because the school he graduated from is where my ancestors are buried. So I don't appreciate Nigerians as a country, as a collective, a governing body. I don't appreciate their governing body using my body and my energy to abuse and exploit the Nigerian population and to abuse and exploit. I don't appreciate that. And I'm not afraid of you. And I'm going to continue to speak up. And I know how powerful I am, whether it be in this lifetime or any other lifetime. And y'all can't erase me, and y'all not gonna step on me. Y'all have tried to. They think that they gonna succeed at stepping on me and silencing me. It's not gonna happen. And yes, it is true romanticized. It's romanticized. They give this fictitious false reality that, the motherland is just so perfect. There ain't nothing wrong in Nigeria. They just recently had an explosion in Nigeria where over 1,000 people were murdered and kidnapped. Okay, so this fairy tale of what it is in Nigeria has to stop. And people acting like they don't know that, like when you talk to Black Americans in Atlanta, like people that are from the streets where I'm from in Atlanta, the first thing they say when you say something about Nigerians is, oh, they be kidnapping girls. That's the first thing they say. I don't care who you really speak to. People in Atlanta's first impressions of Nigerians and Africans in Atlanta are that they are a part of human trafficking and kidnapping. My thing is the coastal Africans more times than not were the ones that helped capture and sell interior Africans. Yes, you are right. People have this false reality of thinking that white people just came into Africa and just kidnapped everybody and just dipped out. Like, oh yeah, ooh, yeah, we riding through this motherfucking nice. Oh, that's a fat booty Black lady. Let me grab there and take her with me. Y'all know how close-knit Africans are. Like, if you just pay attention to how they act and how they move, okay? They don't let people in a circle that they don't like. You're not about to just easily infiltrate, okay? And it's hard for them. They could go through a whole lot of stuff and they still, for the most part, it's like a mob, okay? So to say that no Africans had anything to do with the transatlantic slave trade is a lie. And especially, like, there's this I think it's called Finding Voodoo is the documentary. There's a documentary about voodoo, and they take you to the point of no return, which is at the coast, where a lot of the slaves were taken from the coast of Africa to wherever they were taken off of the coast of Africa. And she said, this lady is Black. She's Black passing. She literally said that a lot of Africans had never seen water before. So, because they didn't live on the coast. So they saw water for the first time when they were being kidnapped into slavery. And if you look up slave currency, the main slave currency during the transatlantic slave trade, and that transatlantic slave trade is not the only slave trade. There was a slavery that happened slave trade happened in Nigeria since like the 1400s all the way up into the 1940s. They just created an anti-human trafficking law in the 2000s in Nigeria. So up until 2000, slavery was still legal in Nigeria. Okay? And so it's just preposterous to me. It wasn't a lot of them involved, but enough. Hell yeah. Listen, I'm not saying it was all of them, but it was a lot of them. Okay? It was a lot of Nigerians that was involved in the slave trade. There was a lot of people involved in the slave trade. And if you did not comply, they sold you. Or they killed you. Okay? And so even if you go and look at Brazilian history, there's history about certain families that got taken, royal families that got taken to slave trade, went to Brazil, and they had kids, and their kids rebelled against them, trying to re-enslave the Nigerian people that were coming into Brazil, and they end up knocking off their family members. Oh, so your people from the Congo. Okay, so let me say that real quick about the Congo people. All right, so the people in the Congo, in my opinion, okay, I'm biased. Okay, people from the Congo are the most about that shit. Okay, like out of the whole African continent, I know in my soul, and the proof is in the pudding, that they did not sell their people out. Because listen, if you go and look up a show called Strain Hunters, strain like as in cannabis strain. They talk about how they went through Africa and got the strains. Like the strain hunters literally looks like how they got slaves. And the show stopped in the Congo. They told the people from the Congo, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna build schools for y'all, we're gonna look out for y'all, we're gonna do this, blah, 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 blah. And they didn't keep their promise. And one of the lead cast members from Strain Hunters died from malaria in the Congo. To this day, still marked the industry. I ain't really did that much ancestor work with him yet, but he knows better. Okay, he knows better. So when it comes to ancestors that's about that life, the Congo ancestors do not play. White people's magic don't work on them. It might work a little bit in the beginning, but on a foundational level, the Congo's ancestors and the Cameroon people, they do not play. I don't know what their spiritual practices are called. You know what's wild? While I was doing my spiritual work to heal from this human trafficking from Ifa, they were protecting me. I don't even know what they were doing, but they had me burn this pink candle, and I burned this pink candle, and it did something. And child, okay? I honestly think that I do have blood from the Congo. And if I don't, I'm adopted, because they do not play these games, okay? At all. They don't play no games, okay? And they don't play no games. And whoever this Igbo goddess lady is, she not playing no games either. And I've started to realize a lot of these spirits that they have in Nigeria that they say are these big powerful spirits, they stole these spirits from other countries during the transatlantic slave trade. Like they literally went and saw all the other tribes, and they went and saw what the most powerful spirits and gods and goddesses in Africa was, and they literally brought them all to Nigeria and Yoruba land and started calling them the Orishas. They say that Ifa is not rooted in anything else, but I beg to differ. I've seen for a fact from the ancestors that they literally went and, because look at Eshu. Like if you really go to the roots of Eshu were in Benin. And after I watched one of Dynasty's videos, Eshu came from another country. So no, that's what I said. They literally went, the Yoruba people, they used the white people to have world domination. Okay, they was like, oh, they about to dominate the world. We about to link up. Nigeria did, the Yoruba people did what China doing with Russia. Hey, you got cut off from such and such and such and such. Come over here. I got a lot of power, so you can link up with me, and we can go and we can dominate the world together. That's what Nigeria did. Okay, and then they was like, well, I got the manpower to go into all these other tribes and take over their stuff. I just need your help because you the internal eyes. And so if you help us, we scratch our back, we scratch your back. And so basically what they did was they sold all their people out, and they sold all the other people out so they could go and find the most powerful African deities in the entire continent. And they got all these African deities. They started taking all their relics, whatever ones that could be used to be sold, that could be used against them. They sold them to the museums. And they kept the real ones that they wanted, and they created the quote-unquote Orishas as a cover-up. And they implemented these devices all over the whole planet to help with their whole plot of world domination. This is a legend, but this is what I've seen in the spirit. This is from what I've, the spiritual research I've done. Yeah, and it messed us all up. They tried to do a power move, and it messed us all up, but it didn't mess them up because they don't care. The people that really benefited from this whole thing, they don't care. Their pockets are still loaded. Those people, and you can look this up. If you look up it's a story about a woman whose ancestor was a slave trader. And I think the name of the title of the article was My Nigerian Slave Trader. Great grandfather or some shit. I'll put it below because we talking about this now, so I'm going to put it below. And so she talks about this. Okay? Like she talks about a lot of stuff pertaining to what we're talking about right now. And it's just so sad. Like, it's just so sad to me that people act like that are Nigerian, act like they don't know what's going on. They acting like they don't, like they cousins and homies in them didn't come to America and get rich off of slavery. Not slavery from the past, slavery now. Oh, okay, I missed the point that I was getting to. Okay, so she said that her family members, first of all, a lot of the slave traders from Nigeria, they changed their names. A lot of slave traders in history, period, changed their names because they don't want to be traced back to slavery. Okay, so they changed their names, and the money, they cleaned their money by taking it to Europe. They sent most of their family over to Europe. So a lot of these people that be coming to America, Europe, and places like that, these are the descendants of slave traders. They send their kids out to clean up their image and to get a higher education, and then they send them back to their country, or they send them back out somewhere else. That has been a custom of slave trader elite for a long time. There is a statue of a slave trader who was a woman in Lagos right now. One of my homeboys that lives in Lagos, Nigeria, he told me about this lady. That's how I found out about the shit. Okay, I will say this about him. My homeboy that live in Nigeria, he probably the nicest Nigerian I've ever met in my life. Like, he's so accepting of what's going on because he himself has had to break away from his family because they were abusive to him. So he's like me, he out here on his own. So he completely understands. And he be keeping me up to date on all the BS that's going on. Like the police killing them, people burning up people's cars, spiritual people burning up people's cars. Some magical lady that was a part of E5 tried to sacrifice him, and she was married, and he didn't know she was married. It's so much crap that be happening in Nigeria that I didn't even know, and he be keeping me in the loop. He was talking about how a lot of the nonprofit organizations is scams. They taking all the money. Like, he be keeping me in the loop. Okay, period. Listen, it's a whole lot of dots. Okay, people, it's a whole lot of freaking dots. Okay, and I could go on forever about all the dots I've connected. But I said for the longest, I didn't feel like it was safe for me to speak about this yet because it was still so fresh. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it wasn't really fresh, but in a way, it felt fresh to me. Like, it still hurts. And like, for people of the continent to be so dismissive about my experience and even have death threats about my experience, it's like, do you not understand how hard it is, first and foremost, for me to even survive this? Women and men don't survive being human trafficked by people in Nigeria very often, especially not when they're trying to human traffic you for spiritual purposes. And like, and it says it on the article, that's what I'm gonna put it. They will say that they will allow slaves to roam around the community, but they will use them in ritual sacrifice. That's exactly what they wanted to use me for, as a ritual sacrifice, like that, because they want my power. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going through this with y'all. I'm not going through this. Maybe last lifetime I died in a ritual sacrifice, and sometimes I do feel like I was sacrificed in a past life, but y'all not sacrificing me this life. Nope. Nobody sacrificing me this lifetime. It's not happening. Nope. And there have been people that have been human sacrificing with Ifa or by Ifa, and they are not my ancestors. So, like, there are people that in the spiritual realm see what I'm doing and appreciate what I'm doing, and they are now coming out to talk to my ancestors to ask to help me because they want to help this whole movement of taking this crap down. So, if we don't venture into the past, how are we going to stop this shit happening in the present? And it's just so sad to me because a lot of these Nigerians, they blend into our communities. And people don't even know that these people are some of the main descendants of slave traders. And some of them are still trading slaves to this day via sex trafficking and spiritual trafficking. So that's all I'm going to say. I appreciate you people for being here. I gotta go maybe some food and stuff. This video is so long, which it's okay. I'm not mad about it being long, but I really appreciate the support because I needed it for me to talk about this and to feel comfortable talking about this. And shout out to the ancestor that wanted these cigarettes. I don't know what they want me to do with these. They just told me to keep them open, so I'm gonna keep them open, and probably they'll give me a message after I finish this video on what to do with them because I don't smoke cigarettes, so they're clearly an offering, and it's a brand new pack of cigarettes. So yeah, I'll see you later. Peace.